Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America live on this Saturday morning, live from Saratoga. Happy to be on board again as we are now. We still have Belmont at Saratoga, but for all intents and purposes, we're here for the season. We went back to the studio after the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga short meet, not bringing all the equipment back, so we now have the equipment up here. So once again, a little bit of a shakeout, as it were. Over the next couple of days, and then midweek we'll jump back in. Again, technically it's Belmont at Saratoga still as far as stats and whatnot through the weekend, July 4th weekend, and then we're back for official opening day that following, midweek, as I say. So again, we're still shaking out here over the next couple of days, but happy to be at our Clare Court set as usual, so it should be a lot of fun. Before I go on, let me once again thank our friends at Finger Lakes for their hospitality. We had our Finger Lakes road trip. I had a bankroll out there. Everybody in the bankroll made a little bit of money. We hit a couple of things, nothing spectacular though. And I went back and looked. There was an exacta that I might have played a little more aggressively and scored with, but other than that, there wasn't anything there that was matching up with what I was playing that I could have done it differently. Typically these bankrolls, I'll go back and when I zagged, and as I say, Thursday, we kind of got what we got, which again was a little bit of money for everybody on the bankroll team. We appreciate everybody who participated, and again. Thanks to the folks out at Finger Lakes for their hospitality. It was fun. We were supposed to go last Monday, and again, racing really across the country was at the mercy of the weather, which we felt around here in upstate, the only Saratoga area as well. Thursday, it was actually a little breezy and cool out there, overcast. It had rained earlier in the day and pretty much held off when we were there. So, as I say, it was a little cool, but after the early part of the week, kind of comfortable. We were set up outside and had a nice day at the Finger Lakes. Hopefully you were tuned in for our cut-ins throughout the afternoon and enjoyed it. I always say if you haven't been out there, easy drive up the thruway. You get to the exit, and it's 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes from the exit to the racetrack. So keep it in mind. We talked about it when we were there on Thursday, July 14th. Nice day of racing with the New York Derby being part of it, and some other stakes, New York Oaks, and with the Leon Reed coming up on July 14th out there. So maybe keep that in mind for a trip to the Finger Lakes. All right, let's take a look at some action in both preview and review. We'll go back to last night. It was the big night of the year. All right, we're going to send it to a commercial. I'm being told in my ear there's a little bit of an issue, so stay tuned.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Welcome back to Racing Across America Live from Saratoga. As I said, we're kind of shaking out the equipment, and we had a little audio issue there, but cleared up now. So, again, happy to be on board and useful being up here shaking things out because now we got the microphone issue taken care of. And as I was saying before the break, going to go back and take a look. Last night, the big night at Penn National annually, Penn Mile night, also the Penn Oaks. Which was supposed to be, a month and a half, but they were anticipating some weather coming into the originally scheduled night, so they postponed it a couple of weeks maybe, and then that turned out to have some weather issues, so they postponed it. And I guess last night even there was a little bit of a sprinkle going, but it wasn't enough to keep them from racing on the grass. So Penn National, their big night, the Penn Mile, the big race, the Grade 3 event, $400,000 up for grabs. And it wound up to be a field of 5 in there. And Mibago for Mark Cassey was the favorite, coming out of a close-up second in the Pine Ridge right up here at Saratoga on Belmont Stakes Week. This is a talented runner for Mark Cassie. 5 wins in 10 starts coming in. Irad Ortiz was in town for the ride. So logical favorite, 70 cents to the dollar. But as often happens, it was the uncoupled half of the entry. It's Dream On getting it done. The number 8 horse, Mibago, had to lead the number 4 horse. But will get run down and wind up running 4th in here. But again, it's the other Mark Cassie, the number 8, Dream On, under Javier Castellano, getting it done. $2 as opposed to 70 cents on the dollar. So Cassie had the 2 favorites. So as I said, it's a longer half, but not much longer at $6. Dream On getting it done in there. Running second was Cairo Caper for Phil Schoenthal. Mike Maker had the 3rd place finisher out on bail. And again, the favorite Nibago wound up running 4th after having the lead most of the way around. But Dream On, another nice little runner for Cassie coming into the last night, 3 wins in 8 starts, so now 4 for 9. Had come out of a win in the Woodhaven at Aqueduct back at the end of April. So again, a talented runner. Nice little set of 3-year-old turfers last night. Again, scratch reduced field of 5, but some players in there that will be interesting to watch going forward in that subdivision of, again, 3-year-olds on the turf. All right. Also on the card yesterday was the Penn Oaks. So I thought we'd take a look at that. $150,000 up for grabs. And the favorite in there, 3-5 for Laura Lynn. It was a Graham Motion runner that has potential in the subdivision of 3-year-old fillies on the turf, as this horse comes out of last night undefeated in 4 starts. Went into it 3 for 3 with a couple of stakes victories. One at the end of last year in the Teppan at Aqueduct, and then started this season with a win in the Memories of Silver at Aqueduct. Now ships over to Penn National and picks up the Penn Oaks again to run the record to 4 for 4. Candy Quest runs second for Mark Cassie, and Raining Flowers runs third. But a nice victory chart margin there, just a little over a length. Again, at 3-5, $3.20 for Laura Lynn. Be interesting to see. Graham Motion runner. Wouldn't be surprised to see this one up here at Saratoga. Horses coming out of the Penn Mile as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them up at Saratoga. So again, that was your Penn National night. There were a couple other minor stakes on the card as well, but Penn National, their big night of the year. That Penn Mile, and Mark Cassie getting it done. All right. Again, there was a little review, now a little preview. There is a big day at Churchill. Their closing weekend down at Churchill and the Stephen Foster, living up to the anticipation. A lot of horses over the past few months. Yeah, we're going to the Foster going, and wound up. It's a nice field in here. First Mission, Mindframe, Skippy Longstocking, Sierra Leone, Mystic Dan, Hit Show, and Ashcroft. Ashcroft may be a little bit up against it, but it's a Wayne Lucas runner. So sentimentally, folks will be on board. Speaking of which, let me just go check here. Race number 1. I wasn't sure which race. But race number 1 today at Churchill, Wayne Lucas sends out a first-time starter called Track Legend. And a lot of people are thinking, boy, it'd be fitting to see this one win. So, again, that's race number 1 at Churchill today. Wayne Lucas sending out Track Legend. And if you haven't been plugged into the news, Wayne Lucas rather abruptly retired from training earlier this week, facing what seems to be some serious health issues. So, I mean, it was just recently, last year he wins the Preakness, and he had some nice horses on the Derby Trail this year. He was still getting up on the horse in the morning until just the other day, essentially. But again, had a little setback at the start of the week, and the announcement came out that he has retired from training. So that makes some of these Lucas horses that were entered before this situation, they will certainly be sentimental favorites, but the one in the opener at Churchill, Track Legend, a lot of people are saying how appropriate would that be if that one got it done. But moving back to the Foster, Stephen Foster, grade 1 event, $1 million up for grabs, mile and an 8th. I'm putting Sierra Leone on top, but boy, I could go a bunch of different directions. And we're going to take a look here at a reason why I may be willing to go a bunch of different directions, because Sierra Leone is logical given the 112 Beyer victory in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. But then goes from that race in November to the seasonal debut this year in the New Orleans Classic, and goes off as the short price 30 cents to the dollar favorite in a field of 5, and winds up, as we'll see here, third. Again, this was back on March 22nd. The winners Touch Upon a Star. The second place finisher is Hall of Fame. Touch Upon a Star, the winner here, and again, finishing third, the number 7 horse is Sierra Leone. You can see there is no real fight there as far as being in contention. Chart margin first to second is 2.5. Second to third is a couple. So Sierra Leone, that was not a stellar seasonal debut. Touch Upon a Star, the winner, came back to win an ungraded stake at Evangeline Downs, the Evangeline Downs Classic, back on May 3rd, and followed that up on May 26th, running 5th in the Grade 3 Sexton Mile down at Lone Star. So take that as you will for the winner there. The second place finisher, Hall of Fame, wound up running third in the Grade 2 Ali Sheba on May 2nd, and then ran fourth in the Grade 3 Blame on May 31st. So I don't know whether the first two finishers went out and, flattered themselves in particular. So that all doesn't flatter Sierra Leone. I put Sierra Leone on top, again, off of the stellar end of the season last year with the nice solid triple-digit Beyer win in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Pace-wise, maybe up against it a little bit. Typically needs a little pace to shoot at. I don't know whether there's going to be much of that in here. So I have Sierra Leone on top, but again, I wouldn't argue for folks making cases in other directions. Underneath, I use Skippy Longstocking. Skippy Longstocking, the nice runner for Saffie Joseph, well over $3 million in the bank. And we're going to take a look here at the last race for Skippy Longstocking. It was the Hollywood Gold Cup out at Santa Anita. This was back on May 26th. Skippy Longstocking's the number 5 horse here. Irod Ortiz was in for the ride, and at 4-5 gets it done. Chart margin is going to wind up to be 3/4 of a length over Midnight Mammoth. Extensive runs third, but Skippy Longstocking does get it done. That was the second win in 4 starts this year. Prior to that, had run third in the Oaklawn Handicap and won a little stake at Tampa, a little confidence builder in the second start of the year in the seasonal debut. Was third in the Pegasus World Cup. But you saw in the last start, nice win. Ships out to Santa Anita, gets it done. So off of that, I have Skippy Longstocking right underneath. Very talented. You put $3 million in the bank, you're doing all right. I put Mindframe third. Again, I could see folks putting that one on top. Mindframe going out for Todd Pletcher, Mike Rapoli and company. Relatively likely race runner. Only 6 starts, 4 wins, a couple of seconds. So this is a talented runner, but again, only limited starts so far. One of those 4 wins was just a few weeks ago, May 3rd, down at Churchill Downs, Derby weekend, the Churchill Downs stake. A Grade 1, and Mindframe's going to be the number 7 here, getting it done. Irod Ortiz on board, banishing second. Nisos, talented runner from Baffert, runs third, but Mindframe gets it done. And again, for the 4th win in 6 career starts in the Churchill Downs. Prior to that, had started the 4-year-old season with a win in the Gulfstream Park Mile. Those are both high 90 buyers, including this one, which earned him a 98, if I'm reading my page right, 99. Ended last season with a couple of triple-digit buyers, but did end the season in July in the Haskell. So went to the sidelines, subsequently came back, now 2 for 2, including that win you saw there. So Mindframe, again, I think is very, very logical as well in here. First mission in the 4 spot. That leaves out Hit Show. It leaves out Mystic Dan, who kind of rebounded nicely in the Blame last time. It's a fun race for sure. And so again, for me, 4, 3, 2, and 1 with Sierra Leone on top. But I'm going to be interested to see how the odds shake out. I think Sierra Leone probably will take the action with the Breeders' Cup victory with that big triple-digit number attached. But I'm going to be interested to see how the top players, what separates them and whatnot. It's a fun edition of the Stephen Foster Grade 1 event, race 11 on the card, scheduled to go off at just a little after 6 o'clock. And so you can tune to it right here on the network. And there's a really, really good undercard of stakes action as well. We'll take a look at a couple of those when we come back, but we will head to a break now. And as I say, come back with a little more preview and review, as it were, on a Saturday morning live from Saratoga. Plenty of action out here already. Some horses dancing around, coming back from workouts, and carts speeding back and forth with connections and whatnot. I say plenty of action, but relative to 2 weeks from now, it's a little bit quiet out here because, again, there's still action this weekend down in New York. They won't be up here racing until midweek. So a lot of the barns and whatnot haven't made their move up yet. So there's action. But as I say, relative to when the meat actually starts cooking, it is a little bit quiet here. But quiet and comfortable on an overcast morning, but very nice temperature-wise, particularly compared to earlier in the week. So again, we're happy to be here. Happy you're tuned in. We'll continue in just a couple. Stay tuned.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at CapitalOTB.com or CapitalOTBBet.com and claim your free money.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at CapitalOTB.com. Welcome back. As I say, the card this afternoon at Churchill is really good. Closing weekend down there, highlighted by the Stephen Foster, but there are some undercard stakes that are very good as well. The Foster is race number 11. Race number 12 is the American Derby. Again, that subdivision I like of the 3-year-olds on the turf. I like Reagan's Witten here. Our friends at West Point Thoroughbred, Cherie DeVoe, lately raced runner, couple of wins, couple of seconds in 5 starts. One of those wins we'll take a look at right here. It's the James Murphy at Pimlico on Preakness weekend. Jose Ortiz was on board for the ride on this afternoon. He'll be back on again this afternoon. So again, the James Murphy, a nice win. The number 7 horse is going to be Reagan's Wit, as you can see there in the West Point colors. Just Ortiz moving them along. Coming up for second will be Soleil Volant, the number 6 horse. Twain, the number 1, runs third. But a nice victory, chart margin just over 3 lengths at 1-2 for Reagan's Wit. Again, it's Cherie DeVoe, it's West Point and company. Some other owners involved, including Cherie's husband, David and Gordo. Lately raced runner that maybe is on the improve and getting better. But there are a couple interesting horses in here. Soleil Volant, the horse that ran second, is scheduled in here. with Irod Ortiz on board. But the two interesting horses are Flying Mohawk and Tiztastic. They both come out of the Kentucky Derby. They both kind of clunked in the Derby. But Flying Mohawk has a nice little record underneath of turf races. They ran second in the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway, which got them enough points to try the Derby. So, I get it. Took their shot. First time on the dirt. And as I say, kind of clunked. But now getting back to the turf, Flying Mohawk is very interesting. And Tiztastic for Steve Asmussen has some turf races underneath. And in fact, is 2 for 2 on the turf. Also comes out of a try in the Derby. Wasn't much there, but just before that won the Louisiana Derby. So with that on the resume, and now getting back to the turf where the horse is undefeated in a couple starts, Tiztastic is interesting. I put Reagan's Wit on top. Native Runner for Ken McPeak. I thought off the move back to the turf last time and a nice win was interesting. Will be coming from out of it. You'll hear for that one in the lane, Native Runner. And then I put Flying Mohawk and Tiztastic in the 3rd and 4th spots. But I'm just interested to see what they can do coming out of the Kentucky Derby, moving to the turf. Not a move you see all that often necessarily. So that'll be the 12th. Again, will go off a little after 6:30 is the scheduled time for that one. And also on the card this afternoon, race 10 is going to be the Wise Dan. 4-year-olds and up on the grass. And I put Brilliant Birdie on top. Again, Cherie DeVoe runner. And we're going to see here it comes out of a close-up second place finish in the Arlington at Churchill on May 31st. The chart margin here will be a neck. The winner is Mercante, the number 8. Brilliant Birdie, as I say, runs a close-up second as the beaten favorite. Brilliant Birdie, the number 9. You can see there, this is a nice stretch duel. And Mercante winds up the better of it as the winner. Running 3rd in here is Laganos. But there was a key scratch already. And I'm not sure the scratches overall are out, but this was yesterday. Mercante has scratched out of this, which I think then sets it up nicely for Brilliant Birdie, particularly off of that race. Mi Hermano Ramon, also a player for me, coming in most recently from the West Coast. Good little second place finish in the Shoemaker Mile. I have that one in mix. Taking Candy becomes the other Cherie DeVoe. Jose Ortiz on board there. That one kind of clunked in the Turf Classic at Churchill, but I think is better than that. So I'll look for that one as maybe a little bit of value. And again, as the other Cherie DeVoe. So Wise Dan, race number 10. Race number 9 is going to be the Kelly's Landing. Booth is in there for, I will say Booth is in there for Steve Asmussen, coming out of a 4-race win streak, including the Maryland Sprint, Preakness weekend most recently. But Dr. Venkman, I saw if you pull up the one sheet, you look at the play of the day, a friend Brian Addo is high on Dr. Venkman. And I think Dr. Venkman was also a Del Mar play. I want to say, was it a couple of years ago? Yeah, it was a couple of years ago at Del Mar for our colleague Anthony Mormino in the career debut, I believe. So, but again, I have Venkman in the mix, but I have Booth on top. Just as, Asmussen was sprinters the last few years. So again, that's the Kelly's Landing. Also on the card today down at Churchill is the Teppan, a mile on the grass for the 3-year-old fillies. I'm going to use Vixen. Mark Cassie runner has been just behind Nitrogen, the really nice Mark Cassie runner, the past couple of starts. So I think that kind of flatters Vixen a little bit, staying away from a stable mate today. Lush Lips is going to take a lot of action for Brendan Walsh. This is a nice competitive field in here in the Teppan. And finally, I just wanted to also mention race number 7 on the card today, the Fleur de Lis, featuring Torpedo Anna. And I think a lot of people are, I'm sure Ken McPeak being at the top of the list, anxious to see how she rebounds out of the poor performance in the La Troyenne. She had started the season very nicely, a win in the Azari, a win in the Apple Blossom down at Oaklawn. The numbers were a little light as compared to her best, but when you look at her career, those mid-90s are right in the ballpark. Now, she does have a couple of triple-digit buyers, the 111 running second in the Travers and the 100 in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. But, you know, the as I say, the 90s down at Oaklawn were right in her wheelhouse. We'll see what she does today. Jin may be a little bit interesting if you're looking for an upsetter. Also Royal Spa, but it's a field of 5, and again, it's just going to be intriguing to see if Torpedo Anna shows up as the Torpedo Anna we know and love, as it were, down at Churchill this afternoon. So again, that'll be race number 7. It's going to go off a little before 4 o'clock, the Fleur de Lis. All right, we will head to another break. When we come back, a little more on the news and notes side of things as we continue on a Saturday morning live from Saratoga. Stay tuned.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back. Also on the agenda today, going to be the LaSalle Derby, field of 5. And again, out in Southern California, they have shifted racing to Los Alamitos. But again, it's a field of 5. I wouldn't say it's a super exciting betting event. The favorite is going to be a Bob Baffert runner. He's got 3 runners in the 5-horse field. But Nevada Beach is the even money morning line favorite. And I see that continuing when the betting starts. A win to break the maiden is second in a stakes race behind Gaming last time. The Affirmed at Santa Anita. Varney also goes out for Bob Baffert off a maiden breaker at Pimlico Creek this weekend. So, I'm just mentioning it. I don't know how exciting an event it is. Both of those have the chance to come out of it and be 3-year-olds worth paying attention to a little bit. Doug O'Neill has Rank in here. Tiz Secure is the other Bob Baffert runner. Again, those also could come out and make a little noise maybe as the year and the summer progresses on the 3-year-old side of things. Excuse me. Flavien Prat yesterday in New York down at Aqueduct. 5 wins yesterday, and that got him his 2000th career victory in North America. Some interesting quotes. Honestly, when I started riding, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be here in New York and celebrating 2,000 wins after the really great season last year. It was a nice way to kind of lead into the summer, and summer at Saratoga, I would assume, for the most part. 32-year-old Prat, obviously started the career over in France. We've had him sit on here and give a little bit of the background last summer, but he got his 2000th career victory. I was interested to see, I pulled up on the computer earlier, the list of all-time leaders, which you can do on Equibase, and I was wondering where 2000 put him in the mix. And again, I'm not trying to diminish. 2000 is great, but 2000 doesn't even get you into the top 100 as far as career victories. The 100th jockey on the list has over 3,700 victories. And again, I'm not 2000 is spectacular, and the time frame since he's been here in America, all of that is great. I was just amazed at the numbers. But the one that I bring it up mainly because at the top of the list, Russell Bay's 12,842 victories. And next on the list is Laffit Pincay with 9,500. So Russell Bay's is 3,000 plus ahead of Laffit Pincay, number one to number two. Just kind of looking down the list amongst the top riders of races won, active Perry Oots, who has 7,500 plus victories. He's sitting number 5 on the list and still grinding away at a age where a lot of folks are kind of taking it easy. And also active number 12, John Velasquez, number 12 on the all-time winning list with 6,700 plus. Let me just see if I can switch this to money earner, because I believe Johnny V went to the top of that list top on the money earning list. John Velasquez with over $500 million in career earnings. And there's a number of, no surprise, I mean, as purses have increased, particularly in stakes races, as compared to the all-time winning list, the all-time money list, the top 5 are all still active. John Velasquez, Javier Castellano, Mike Smith, Irad Ortiz, and Joel Rosario, 1 through 5 on the money earning list. But again, Flavian Prop, congratulations. Big day yesterday down at Aqueduct to hit a career milestone with 2,000 career wins. Also do want to mention, coming up as it is that time of year, we're kind of shifting some spring to summer tracks and whatnot. It will be a closing day situation tomorrow at Laurel as well. Don't forget, closing days always mean mandatory pays and all of the various wagers. So keep that in mind. At Laurel tomorrow, mandatories in their various picks and whatnot. Similar situation, Belmont at Aqueduct. They'll have mandatory pays, as it will be. Well, no, okay, I'm taking that back, because next week is Belmont at Saratoga. So their mandatories will be next weekend, now that I think of it, because technically that's still the Belmont meet. So check that on New York. That'll happen next week. But, and this is a big but, also in the mix, Churchill Downs and their closing weekend. And we'll see what happens today. Knock wood, because I would imagine it had to come close yesterday. I didn't see going into the last race if some tickets were alive, but you'd have to think so. But the jackpot pick 6 down at Churchill goes into today with a carryover of 1.3 million. And again, if it doesn't get hit today, we're going to have over that tomorrow, and people will pour money in. I mean, it's just, it'll be bonkers tomorrow. It's a 20-cent increment. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. The pick 6 at Churchill, it's closing day, have to pay it out. So take your shot at the 20-cent increment. You can put a nice little ticket together. And, even if you get a console, even if it's kind of logical, I think it'll pay okay. But as I say, I didn't hear, but I'm guessing they had to come into the last race with at least a couple of shots for this thing to get scooped, because it paid and it was not scooped. So there was more than one winner. It paid $110,000 for 20 cents yesterday at Churchill. And it was kind of a funny sequence, because the last 4 races weren't crazy. I'll give you the payoffs in the sequence here, starting from the last race and working backwards. Last race, $18.46. It was the 5th choice. The second choice won the race before, $12 and change, $9 and change, another second choice, $11 and change, a third choice. So we have horses between $9 and $18, the second choice to the 5th choice, and 5th choice in a field of 11. So it took a little action. But in the second leg of the sequence, $47 and change in the rank outsider, longest horse in a field of 9. So that juiced things up, and the sequence started $42 and change, sixth choice in a field of 8. So the two $40 horses early kind of ballooned it up. And you can see it in that the pick 5, the pick 6 with two $40 horses starting at pays $100,000. The pick 5 with one of those $40 horses pays $27,000. But then the pick 4, which again had the horses between $9 and $18, pick 4 for 50 cents pays $647. And then, as I say, then the pick 5 jumps up to $27,000 with a $47 horse. So it was a funny sequence with the first two horses being the ones that kind of threw it into a little bit of disarray. And again, I'd love I'll have to text one of the guys down there. I'm curious to know how many potentially live tickets were there. I mean, it could have been there were none supposedly, but I would think if it paid $110,000, there had to be a couple of shots at least to scoop the whole thing. So it's not. I mean, Dan Borislow down at Gulfstream showed it's not impossible to have that happen, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out today. I think we're all keeping our fingers crossed. Go logical today, and let's all take our shot tomorrow. So again, tomorrow, Sunday, closing day at Churchill Downs. And if things work out today, well over $1 million in the carryover down at Churchill, going into the Ellis Park meet, which will start sooner rather than later. Oh, and I don't think I printed it up. Also, speaking of Ellis and their opening day coming up, Tyler Gaffalione has mounts scheduled for opening day. He's been on the sideline with a broken ankle earlier this year down at Gulfstream. It was in the post parade. His horse acted up and jammed him up against the rail, broke his ankle, and he's been on the sidelines ever since. As I understand it, he's been working some horses, I think down in Florida, but he's been on some horses just in recent days and is scheduled for a number of mounts opening day at Ellis. I'm curious whether Ellis is going to be his summertime base or whether it just worked out that he's getting some rides there and he'll come up to Saratoga as he normally does. But one way or the other, it's just good to see Tyler Gaffalione back in the mix on the mend and getting back in the saddle. All right, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, maybe we'll do a little handicapping for this afternoon as well. We took a look at some of those stakes at Churchill. Maybe we'll take a look at some of the action coming up at Belmont at Aqueduct as well for a Saturday afternoon. You can watch all of that action, of course, right here on the network throughout the afternoon. And again, we'll take a break, come back. We'll have more of Racing Across America right after this.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Welcome back. And again, great racing action today. And so if you'd like to go down to the Clubhouse Racebook and enjoy it, I will remind you there is a double promotion day going on down there. It's a match bet, an exacta board. You can go down, win a little extra something. Clubhouse Racebook, grab a little lunch at Black Bear, and enjoy all the racing action at the Clubhouse Racebook today. Double promo day, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And don't forget, keep up. We'll alert you as we get into next week and whatnot. But we will have a nice slate, as usual, of promos coming up during the Saratoga season, including your chance to get on the Play of the Day bankroll team. Our men, Steve Bick and the Brooklyn Cowboy, Kevin Cox, will once again be manning the Play of the Day, the DePaula Play of the Day. In the last couple of years, folks have wound up with some nice change at the end of the meet. And it's fun to follow along Play of the Day and see how the plays of the day do. But our bankroll team, I believe we're going to open the bankroll team next Wednesday. We'll give you an alert and plenty of heads up and time to jump in. But again, I believe that's next Wednesday for the DePaula Play of the Day to open up. But that just kicks off, as I say, a nice slate of promos throughout the Saratoga season. All right, let's just give you a little look at some of the action today at Belmont at Aqueduct, as we talked a little bit about that really great Churchill card, but a fun card at Belmont at Aqueduct as well. Take a quick look through the late pick 5, not putting a ticket together, just some ideas through the sequence. 7th race does kick off that late pick 5 today. Conditional claimers going a mile on the grass. I have it 7, 9, 10, and 3. The 2 Landauer is going out for our friend Steve Bick and his DT stable. So we're rooting for that one. Could be interesting trying the turf again. Last time was off a little bit slowly and out of it, but does make a class move that I like. Stateward allowance into an open claimer. So Landauer is interesting to me. I put that one down at the bottom of the mix, though. I have Mo Creesa on top. A couple of turf tries most recently, also in state bred allowance, so also making what I consider a potent class move, and numbers that I think are pretty good and fit with this group. So Mo Creesa on top. Second spot, Farrell's Joy comes up from Monmouth. Well, I was going to say comes up from Monmouth most recently, but most recently was about a year ago, actually. So this one's coming off a layoff, and that has to be considered, but comes back for a tag, which you can kind of make a case either way. Gee, if they had real confidence, would they go for the waiver? I mean, there are some things to consider, pros and cons, but comes back first time gelding symbol, and if ready to roll, I think is going to class up fine with this group. And then Gene and Jude in the third spot for Tommy Proctor. Hasn't been seen. Another barn, Jack Sisterson down at Gulfstream. Only 3 starts so far. The maiden breaker was pretty good, then followed up in a non-winners of one other than. I think this 35 conditional is probably going to be more in the wheelhouse class-wise. So in the 7th, Belmont at the Big A. Again, they'll kick off that late pick 5 action this afternoon. 7, 9, 10, and 3. Race number 8 today, State Bred Maiden Specials. Again, mile and 1/8 on the grass, 3, 5, 6, and 8. We'll put Sir Oscar on top for Graham Motion. Nice improvement. Start 1, start 2 to start 3. The numbers improved. The finishing positions improved. I would think this one is primed. Has been working down at Fair Hill for Graham. Comes up to New York to, again, continue. That last start was right up here, Belmont Stakes weekend. Close-up second place finish. And off of that, this one seems logical. And it's going to take some action off of those, but I think it's logical. DC Boys in the 2nd spot. Couple of tries most recently on the dirt, but again, this is one of those most recently, goes back to December and January. Now comes back and tries the turf this afternoon by Bolt Dioro, who's kind of an interesting win early sire. I think this one could be a player at a little bit of a price. Mo 88 in the 3rd spot. Again, was a runner-up here on Belmont Stakes weekend in the career debut. I thought it was an okay debut. Was behind the Graham Motion horse that day. But again, it was only the debut effort. Chris Elliott on board, the apprentice, who riding well for an apprentice. And so I don't think that's any negative, and you get that extra 5 pounds. So in the 8th race, Belmont at the Big A, 3, 5, 6, and 8. 9th race today, Belmont at the Big A, conditional claimers going a mile. 3, 4, 6, and 8. Number 3 is Harlan's Bond. Claim 2 back, Cantermachi is pretty good off the claim, but could do no better than 3rd. And I think it was a 3rd that was okay. It was on a sloppy track. And as I say, Cantermachi does pretty well off the claim. So I'll give this one another chance. They've had the horse in the barn now a little bit. And again, that was on a sloppy track. Let's see what we can do getting back to a little bit more of a, dry surface, as it were. Dolce Sarah finished in front of my top pick last time. Back in here today, I didn't use that one. I might regret that, but I put underneath the Neal. Comes in for a trainer who not a whole lot of starts, but of those starts is doing pretty well. That attracted my attention. Comes in off a win at this price tag, but one condition down, N2L. But I think what we saw last time is going to fit with this bunch. And Florida Flower in the 3rd spot gets a class dip that I would expect to be beneficial for Gary Contessa. Claimed this horse 3 back down at Tampa. That was on the turf, went to the dirt for the next 2 starts, showed a nice improved number last time against better. So class relief back to the turf. Florida Flower is interesting as well. In the 9th, Belmont at the Big A, 3, 4, 6, and 8. 10th race, Belmont at the Big A, again on the turf. Conditional claimers going a mile. 3, 4, 5, and 9. Thought the 8 was a little bit interesting as well. I wouldn't argue anyone off of Patrick's Promise, but I put Barnstorming on top. 3rd start of the season, you always like that, particularly when you see a nice little improved effort, start 1 to start 2. So now in start 3 coming back, you would think primed for a nice effort. And if so, Barnstorming is going to be very playable in here. Royal Brown goes out for Rick Dutrow. 3rd start of the season, improving number, improving finishing position in the first couple of starts. So pretty similar scenario. Morning line, they're 1 tick away with Royal Brown being a little shorter. I'm interested to see, but I think being a Rick Dutrow trainee, the morning line may be on it. Royal Brown may wind up to be the favorite, but that's okay. I'll take the extra point on Barnstorming. And then Hard Par going out for Adelphi and Company. Ray Handel trains coming off a win to break the maiden in career start number 13 last time. Sometimes they figure it out, and they just can put a couple together. In the 10th, Belmont at the Big A, 3, 4, 5, and 9. And we'll wrap it up on Saturday afternoon. Race number 11, Belmont at the Big A. State-bred maiden claimers going 6 on the grass. I'm going to have to see how the scratches play out here, because to me, the 2 best horses were the 11 and the 12. They're the first 2 on the AE list. So I'll get at least one of them in if we get a scratch, which, isn't out of the question, certainly. But I will need some help. Ori and Haute Couture come in off of numbers that I think stack up well with this group. So, again, if we do get the scratches and those sneak in, the 2 AEs are interesting to me. Of the horses in the body of the field, the Commish comes in off a career debut that was pretty good with a number that fits. And then Linda Rice says Mayburn. Didn't show much in the debut, but it was an off-the-turfer. Let's see what this one does on the grass. So 11th and final, Belmont at the Big A, 11, 12, 8, 7, and 6. Those don't get in. There's a look at your action this afternoon, a look at some of your action this afternoon, Belmont at the Big A. And again, we have a nice schedule of events coming up today here on the network and via Capital OTB Bet, including Belmont at the Big A, and maybe more importantly, that Churchill card today with the Foster and the very nice undercard. You have the interesting runner in the first that a lot of people are going to be. And speaking of that, I wonder what we will get. Track Legend, again, with the story, and it was too bad to hear about Wayne Lucas and the health issue that prompted the retirement earlier this week, but it would be fitting, again, should that one get it done in the debut. There was a sibling that won the career debut, so this horse comes in working out well. Track Legend in the opener, Wayne Lucas horse, which, as I say, sentimental favorite. So I'm going to be interested to see what the betting public does with this one. 3-1 on the morning line. So the horse is going to take some action regardless, as I said, a little bit of breeding in the workouts, but with that sentimental story as well. Torpedo in the Fleur de Lis. A little bit later on is the Stephen Foster with a really good field. Don't forget, we'll keep our eyes on that pick 6 at Churchill this afternoon. If it doesn't get hit, there was $1.3 million going in today. Take your shot today, because again, even a consolation at that level can pay nicely. It's a 20-cent increment, so you can take your shot to get today. But we're keeping our fingers crossed that nobody scoops the whole pool, and then the big carryover tomorrow and the closing day at Churchill means a mandatory pay. And so I would think everybody will be taking a shot, and that pool will balloon up very nicely tomorrow. All right, don't forget, double promotion at the Clubhouse Racebook today. Match bet and exacta board. Stop down 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Love to see you there, and love to see you win a little extra money. So keep that in mind for this Saturday afternoon. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back in tomorrow with more shakeout time here at Saratoga. Everything seems to have worked well. A little mic issue early, but seemed to have worked out well so far. So we will be back tomorrow. A little bit of a shakeout continuing, and then middle of the week, we kick it off. Still going to be Belmont and Aqueduct, but for all intents and purposes, we're in for the season here, live from our Saratoga backstretch set, and happy to be there. Just looking out, it has quieted down significantly. Again, there was some activity, more quiet than typical during the season, but there was some activity out here. But now it has quieted down quite a bit here on the backstretch on a Saturday morning. I am virtually certain, quite different than what it will look like a week from today. But looking forward to it. Hopefully you are as well. In the meantime, plenty of great action today, and we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. for more Racing Across America, taking a little bit recap look at some of today's action. So we'll see you then.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.